One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent.
He would do a lot of foul shit, like behind the scenes. He would do some foul shit, like.
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
Puffy was playing with your booty in my hand.
The moment 50 Cent stepped into the courtroom, Diddy's reaction was unmistakable. His eyes widened, his jaw tightened, and his hands trembled beneath the table. This wasn't the poised mogul known for his calm demeanor. It was a man clearly rattled. By the third day of the trial, everything seemed to shift when 50 Cent publicly declared his support for Cassie. Witnesses said Diddy completely lost his cool. What followed in that courtroom would stun everyone present and could dramatically alter the course of the trial.
Fifth, when you continuously call Puff gay, does that affect your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him gay. I said.
Let me read it, Fifth.
Oh my God.
Sorry I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow. Dinner Thieves in theaters January 19th.
That's why he says things. He doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. You know what I'm saying? Like, he says something fabulous and he goes, yo, but me and you, we ain't party. Like, we need to party. What is he talking about?
Instant has gone off.
When people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like, he said something to me one time, a long time ago. At Chris Knighty's wedding, he told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out of no, take me. That's what a guy says to a girl.
Do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day?
I'm just not with all that flicky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal.
For 3 decades, Sean Diddy Combs has crafted a public persona so polished, it seemed unshakable. We've seen him confidently glide down red carpets, deliver flawless interviews, and handle public scandals with the precision of a seasoned pro. His image, the unflappable mogul who exudes control at all times, was almost legendary. Think back to that 2017 interview, when a reporter pressed him about rumors of payoffs to former employees. Diddy didn't flinch. He simply adjusted his jacket, flashed a smooth smile, and deflected with ease. Or recall the 2012 closing night of his failed restaurant venture, where he showed up to the party like it was a grand success. That was Diddy, calm, cool, and calculated. Behind that polished exterior, sources close to him revealed just how meticulously he managed his image. He employed a dedicated team of 12 people to maintain his public appearance, crafting every response, every gesture, every smile. One former assistant shared that Diddy would rehearse answers in front of a mirror for hours before TV appearances. He even had a media coach who would stage surprise scenarios to test his ability to stay composed under pressure. But as much as Diddy worked to perfect his public persona, whispers about his explosive temper have lingered for years. A former employee of Bad Boy Records once confided in me about 2 Diddys: the suave figure we all knew and the man who'd fly into rages, throwing phones when things didn't go his way. These rumors never stuck, until now. The first cracks in his flawless image began just days before the trial. A photographer caught Diddy in a rare outburst, snapping at a fan who asked for a photo outside his lawyer's office. Then came a tense, pre-trial press conference, where his grip on the podium was so tight that his knuckles turned white. For someone who'd built an empire on his ability to control his public image, these slips were highly revealing. PR crisis manager Tanya Rodriguez told me how celebrity personas are like fortresses. But when the pressure mounts, those walls can crack. And once they do, the collapse happens quickly. By day 3 of the trial, those cracks had widened into a full-blown breakdown. Courtroom witnesses reported seeing Diddy visibly shaking when certain pieces of evidence were presented. His leg was bouncing so violently that it rattled the defense table. He interrupted his own lawyer multiple times, growing more agitated with each passing minute. The breaking point came when he shouted out during testimony, forcing Judge Harmon to warn him that further outbursts would result in contempt charges. His face, contorted with anger, displayed a rawness that had never been seen before in 30 years of public life. But the real game changer came when someone walked into the courtroom, someone Diddy never expected to see, and certainly never thought would side with his accuser. 50 Cent, his longtime rival, armed with the clout and the motivation to make life difficult for Diddy. Witnesses say that when 50 stepped in, Diddy's face went ghostly pale. The stage was set for a seismic shift, one that could transform the entire trajectory of this high-stakes case.
And it turns out that it's just been announced that he's created a docu-series on Netflix. I can't wait to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry, the attacks that people face from the media if they try to speak out, is always the same. They're called crazy. And an example of one such individual who went through those sorts of attacks is the actor Orlando Brown. He was on Disney, and I remember everyone telling us that he was totally insane and deranged when he was saying a lot of things that at the time sounded crazy, particularly about Diddy. Take a listen.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the, but he won't you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. We are still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
Tell him the story.
Tell him the story. So we talking about rumors, right?
Yeah.
And we, when you Google his name, there's a rumor that pops up that he was Diddy's boy toy.
Oh shit!
Right?
Wait, so this is
so Charlamagne said
it's not true, but I told after he brought up this stuff with you, I said, you know what 50 gonna say when he meets you?
Oh no, I don't know that was going on.
You know,
I can't wait to run into him again.
See, what you gonna say to him, Phil?
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
You know what 50 gonna say to you when he sees you.
What?
I heard Diddy touch your butt.
Yeah. Wait till I see him. Wait till I see him. I'm like, yo.
I've been with Puffy. I know you're not really tapped in, but what
the last thing I saw was like a guy there. He was like, yo, he like pushed me into the truck. It really hurt. And he sounded me. Like he sounded me. I was like, yo, look. I could find other things to do for money.
The rivalry between 50 Cent and Diddy has spanned nearly 2 decades, marked by personal animosity rather than just industry competition. 50 has openly criticized Diddy, accusing him of everything from knowing more about Biggie's murder to questioning his sexuality. When 50 walked into the courtroom on day 3, dressed in his signature black suit and sunglasses, the atmosphere shifted. Diddy, who had been whispering to his lawyer, suddenly froze. Witnesses described his expression as a mix of confusion, shock, and fear. Had been trolling Diddy on social media for weeks, sharing videos and posts, but no one expected him to show up in person. After taking his seat, the energy in the room became palpable, with everyone's attention darting between the two men. During the lunch break, 50 stepped outside to speak with reporters, announcing he was personally funding additional legal support for Cassie through his Junity Foundation. "This isn't about me and Diddy's history," 50 stated. "This is about right and wrong." Inside the courtroom, Diddy's reaction was explosive. He slammed his fist on the table, causing his water glass to tip over. As the situation escalated, the prosecution announced they had new evidence that could prove Diddy had lied under oath. The courtroom was about to witness a bombshell.
Do a lot of foul shit. Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit. Like hating on, like doing things with people I'd done business with that he done business with. He would say shit that I was like, he said that to you?
Right.
I was like, yeah, so all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and niggas don't know what they like till they see somebody with it. So they want the girls after you're done with them and shit.
Yeah, leftovers.
Yeah.
You take your leftovers. A lot of niggas have more leftovers.
I'm offended by what I was offended by.
This is wow, they found Kendrick and Wifey.
That's obviously doing shopping. They got the same outfit.
Yeah, it's true. In public. Yeah, that's a nice shirt. That's a nice shirt. All right, so when he said the shopping line in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Because he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we gotta hang out now. Like, hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I get you some flash and you can give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the wedding. I always say to myself, like,
it was someone's wedding?
It was Chris Lighty's wedding. It was in Miami. Nori's there. Nori knows this because I looked at him like, yo.
The atmosphere in the courtroom was electric after 50 Cent's unexpected appearance, the air thick with anticipation as everyone waited for what was coming next. The prosecution's team had that confident, almost smug look, like they were about to unleash something monumental. Your Honor, we'd like to present evidence item 47B, the lead prosecutor announced. Diddy's defense team was visibly caught off guard. Diddy's lead attorney shot up from his seat, quickly objecting, Your Honor, we haven't received any evidence labeled 47B in discovery. That's when it hit everyone. Something unexpected was unfolding. The judge called both sides to the bench for a private discussion. For 5 tense minutes, the attorneys huddled, while Diddy sat alone, casting nervous glances toward 50 Cent, who had remained stone still in the back row. As Diddy nervously cracked his knuckles, something the courtroom artist noted only happened. When he was under pressure, it became clear that the defense team was scrambling. When they returned to their seats, Diddy's lawyer appeared defeated, and the judge turned to the jury. The court will allow this evidence as it was only discovered yesterday, the judge declared. Then came the bombshell. The prosecutor revealed security footage from Diddy's Miami home, captured in April 2018. The courtroom screens flickered to life, and suddenly everything changed. The footage, silent but unmistakable, showed Diddy and Cassie in a hallway. Diddy's aggressive body language was impossible to ignore. He was pointing at Cassie, yelling, and backing her into a corner. But the most shocking part was yet to come. The video showed Diddy grabbing Cassie by the shoulders, shaking her violently, and pushing her to the ground. The gasps in the room were audible, the tension palpable. Diddy's reaction was swift and visceral. He shot up from his seat so fast that his chair tipped over. "That's not what happened," he shouted, but his attorney quickly pulled him back, down, whispering urgently in his ear. Diddy's face had completely transformed. His eyes were wide with disbelief, and his breathing grew heavy. A court officer stepped closer, sensing the danger. What made the footage even more devastating was the fact that just the day before, Diddy had testified under oath, denying any physical assault on Cassie, or any woman for that matter. He had stated, "I have never in any instance physically assaulted Ms. Ventura or any woman," and added, "There are no videos or evidence of such behavior because it never occurred." The prosecutor pointed out the glaring contradiction, and that's when Diddy's composure fully unraveled. He shook his head repeatedly, muttering to himself. At one point, he even put his head down on the table. His lawyer requested a brief recess, but the judge swiftly denied the request, insisting that the proceedings continue. "Mr. Combs needs to maintain his composure," the judge stated. The bailiff, who had witnessed countless courtroom dramas, later told reporters that he had never seen a defendant's demeanor change so dramatically in a single session. "It was like watching someone transform right in front of you," he said. By the end of the day, the courtroom drama had ignited a firestorm in Hollywood. News of the explosive evidence spread like wildfire, and the carefully built walls of silence around Diddy's behavior began to crumble. Celebrities who had once been loyal to him now faced a difficult choice, and within hours, some of his closest friends began quietly distancing themselves.
All these years, you've been the only one calling this out.
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
They said you're a hater. They
You're
said
a
you're crazy.
hater. You're do this. Yeah, and now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. There's all this shit that's coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying
It
is,
might come from you.
You see it now. All of these complaints. People were damned. They were and pillaged. This was what was going on, right? And what do I get for the? I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like I look at things and go. When you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh shoot, like. Then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing. He just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
Like that. Look, like if you say, I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I go also 10 years, 20 years later, that comes back. And it's like all of Puff's problems are coming from the ministers touching little boys.
What you mean?
The laws are the way they are because because
of the priests.
The priests touching little boys.
Oh. Before the trial, Diddy was untouchable in Hollywood. His inner circle of celebrity friends defended him fiercely, attending his parties, collaborating on projects, and swiftly silencing any rumors. His influence was so vast that no one dared to speak out against him. That was the unspoken rule until day 3 of the trial. The release of the shocking footage showing Diddy allegedly assaulting Cassie, paired with his emotional breakdown in the courtroom, cracked the unshakable facade he had built over the years. But it wasn't just the evidence that shifted the tides. It was the unexpected support from 50 Cent. By publicly backing Cassie, 50 opened the door for others to do the same without fear of backlash. Suddenly, it was safe for people to speak out, and they did. According to an insider, people felt they could finally support her without being the first to take the leap. In just hours, the celebrity world split into 2 distinct factions. The unfollowing spree began almost immediately. Usher, who had worked closely with Diddy for years, quietly removed him from his Instagram. Mary J. Blige, once Diddy's closest ally during the heyday of Bad Boy, followed suit. Even Justin Bieber, who had always viewed Diddy as a mentor, unfollowed him and scrubbed their past photos together from his feed. These actions weren't random, they were calculated. The social media war that followed was swift and messy. Celebrities posted cryptic, thinly veiled messages that clearly spoke to the unfolding scandal without directly naming Diddy. Lizzo shared a simple yet powerful message: believe women. The Weeknd posted a somber black screen with the words, "Power doesn't equal truth." Even Drake, known for his avoidance of industry drama, shared, "The truth always surfaces eventually." Then came the more direct statements. Cardi B, never one to stay quiet, went live on Instagram, saying, "I've seen this type of behavior in the industry for years. It's time to stop protecting abusers just because they have money." While she didn't name Diddy outright, her message was crystal clear, and if there was any doubt about Diddy's falling stature, the radio silence he began receiving was telling. A source within his management team revealed that A-listers who once eagerly answered his calls were now avoiding him. Rihanna, for instance, had ignored 6 of Diddy's calls since the Courtroom incident. Similar stories about Beyoncé and Jay-Z's refusal to make public statements in Diddy's defense were also circulating. Meanwhile, support for Cassie only grew stronger. Former collaborators of Diddy, especially female artists, began reaching out to her legal team, offering to testify about their own experiences. Even those who typically kept their distance from legal matters were showing support. Lady Gaga sent Cassie flowers with a note simply saying, "I believe you." This shift in the industry was unfathomable just a week ago, when Diddy's power and influence made any criticism of him seem like career suicide. But now, the balance had shifted dramatically. With each passing day, more celebrities distanced themselves from Diddy's crumbling empire. And the true bombshell was yet to come. Diddy's fragile composure finally shattered in a courtroom outburst that left everyone, including the judge, utterly stunned.
What is this guy trying to get?
I don't know. Like, it's a simple suit situation, but it's like
20 mil. I can say it.
You still had the blackest face out. You still had the mimic his voice because he's like,
but his
damn.
voice wasn't even that different.
And a little deeper. I was like, almost like, no, that's you, young buck.
Yo,
I almost felt like it was him. I almost knew who it was. You know what I mean? I was like, nah. You heard what he just said, right? He's like, yo, certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. Like they would look, like he would say stuff, and it's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway. Now you see so much shit that you go, wait. No, this was visible,
He was in the hallway. We saw the video. We saw that video.
It comes out later. You're like, that's not the closet. That's the hallway. He didn't give a fuck. Like, you can tell that he was already...
Nah, New York is dope. Because when Fab, he was like, yo, Fab, we ain't party. Fab was like, nah, we partying tonight.
He's like, no, like, but he didn't party.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, they let that one go? Like, I had to say something about it later because I was like, oh, it was fair.
Sit down, counsel. We proceed, she commanded, the room hanging on her words. The spectators were stunned, watching the man, who had spent decades cultivating an image of calm composure, now unravel before their eyes. One juror, visibly impacted, began furiously scribbling in her notebook, documenting the moment that would undoubtedly shape their perception of the trial. It was a tough moment for the defense, but through it all, Cassie stayed remarkably poised. She calmly took a sip of water, then continued her testimony as though the courtroom eruption hadn't occurred at all. Her attorney later explained to reporters that Cassie's calm was rooted in a newfound sense of strength, fueled by the support of influential figures like 50 Cent. With the backing of such powerful allies, she felt more confident than ever in standing her ground. As Diddy's anger flared, 50 Cent's response was nothing short of calculated. He simply flashed a small, knowing smile and gave a slow, deliberate nod. It was as if he were signaling, "I'm right where I need to be." In that brief moment, the balance of power in the courtroom shifted before everyone's eyes. Cassie, however, wasn't done yet. Her testimony was far from over. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal team scrambled into damage control mode as soon as the court session wrapped up. Diddy's entire defense crumbled the second he erupted in the courtroom. The carefully crafted image of him as a composed, rational mogul who'd never harm anyone was shattered in an instant. A legal source revealed to me that his team worked through the night, completely overhauling their strategy. The dignified, gentleman persona was now out of the question. In its place, they pivoted to an emergency defense, portraying Diddy as the victim. This morning, Diddy's legal team filed an urgent motion, pushing for a mistrial. They argue that 50 Cent's presence in the courtroom was no accident, but a calculated move to stir the pot and sway the jury. To back this up, they attached screenshots of 50's social media posts about Diddy, claiming they form part of a larger, orchestrated effort to poison the trial's atmosphere and influence its outcome. The judge quickly dismissed Diddy's legal team's motion for a mistrial, stating that his actions were entirely his responsibility. Now, the defense is scrambling to adjust their approach, making a sudden pivot from their initial strategy. They're now trying to present Diddy as a passionate, albeit misunderstood figure, acknowledging some of Cassie's claims but disputing others, an almost complete reversal of their earlier stance. Meanwhile, Cassie's legal team is seizing the opportunity. They've requested the judge allow 3 new witnesses to testify, witnesses who previously declined to get involved but have now come forward, feeling safer after witnessing Diddy's public meltdown. Among these potential witnesses are a former security guard and 2 assistants with direct knowledge of Diddy's alleged actions. Cent has only intensified the pressure, continuing to make his voice heard online. Since the courtroom altercation, he's posted about the case 7 times, each post more pointed than the last. His most recent post featured a side-by-side comparison of Diddy in court and the security footage, with the caption, "Actions speak. Louder than lawyers." The post quickly garnered millions of likes in just a few hours. In addition, 50 Cent teased a new documentary series called Music Industry Secrets, which many speculate will focus on Diddy. But it's Cassie who's perhaps seen the most striking transformation. Court observers noted her newfound confidence when she returned to testify after Diddy's outburst. Her posture was straighter, her voice stronger. Her attorney confirmed that she feels validated by the support she's receiving and is growing more confident with each day in court. Legal experts agree that Diddy's behavior in court has hurt his case. Jury consultant Sarah Matthews pointed out, "Jurors make decisions based on what they witness firsthand. They just saw him lose control, and that will stick with them longer than any testimony." Body language analysts observed that several jurors visibly distanced themselves from Diddy after the outburst, a shift that could have major implications. Beyond the trial, Diddy's empire is starting to show cracks. Shares in his Revolt Media, Company dropped by 14% after his courtroom breakdown, and several major brands have quietly suspended their partnerships with his liquor companies. His talent agency is also reportedly reviewing his representation. Industry insiders estimate that, regardless of the trial's outcome, Diddy could lose up to $200 million in business deals. The balance of power has completely shifted. Once an untouchable force in the music industry, Diddy now watches as his empire crumbles, while Cassie, once silenced by fear, gains momentum daily. With 50 Cent promising more revelations, this case has grown far beyond one personal relationship. It's beginning to unravel long-held secrets that have shaped the music industry for decades. The power dynamics are no longer what they once were. Diddy, who once controlled his image with an iron fist, now sits in the defendant's seat as the world watches his world fall apart. Cassie, supported by unexpected allies, is finding her voice. This case has transformed into a reckoning, one that threatens to expose the industry's darkest secrets. The silence surrounding powerful figures like Diddy is finally starting to break.